There have been a lot of reviews that talk about the iPhone X simply in terms of opinion, but let's get some actual numbers, specifically about Face ID. It's the most advanced facial recognition on a phone so far. I've given it 2 weeks to build an accurate mathematical model of my face, so let's get started. In the dark, it works just fine. No surprise since it uses infrared sensors. I set a perfectly black background with brightness at minimum for this test, so it's in as dark as possible environment. I also wanted to know what angle your phone could be at, specifically pitch and roll. It can roll up to 45 degrees and still work. So in landscape, you'll have to rotate your head a little bit if you want to unlock it. It also works 45 degrees with pitch. On a desk, it may be a little bit difficult to use sometimes, but here's a little tip. To improve its range of vision, set it up again, one just doing a normal scan, and a second time doing it at the lower part of your face, holding it at a low angle. If it still doesn't work, type in your passcode, so that way it will take a second scan after that and add it to the mathematical representation of your face that it checks against. Now, Face ID requires your eyes to be open and looking at the phone. This is like a security feature. So, how far away from the phone can you be looking? At arm's length, I tested it and it looks like 6 inches horizontally and 11 inches vertically. The next test is to see how much of my face I could cover. Using my super professional advanced facial covering apparatus, I could cover pretty much up to my nose, but not much farther. Another thing I tested was how far away you could hold the phone. Right here, I'm holding the phone as far as I possibly can. My arms are getting uncomfortable, stretching so far. That's as far as it will go. As long as you're just holding your phone, you'll be able to unlock it from any distance. In relation to Face ID, there's another technology that uses the same scanners that Face ID uses, and that is Animoji, which is strange, I guess. It works. Yeah, you can use it. You can like it if you want like it. There have been claims about it that it doesn't actually use the infrared sensors, so they could have just ported it to all of the iPhones. When I tested it and covered up the infrared sensors, I noticed that it wasn't making a very accurate scan. So if they ported it over to, say, the iPhone 8 and 7 and things like that, it sort of would have been judged badly by the public, which wouldn't have been good, and it wouldn't have been a very good feature anyway. So should they have added it? Maybe. Should they not have? Maybe. Did they? They didn't. In comparison, it's slower than Touch ID, but overall more convenient. Now I know I said I'd have no opinions in this video. The convenience factor, I think, outweighs the slowness. Also, when you're doing anything besides immediately opening it to the home screen, or whatever app you were last in, it's a little faster. For example, like notifications or Today View. Speaking of which, on stage at the keynote, it looked like it had failed, but it actually didn't. You could tell because if it fails, the lock shakes, but instead it actually just brought up the passcode prompt. This was because the stagehand, when setting it up, was having their face scanned way too many times and ended up locking them out, which means that Craig could not get in. This leads us to the concern that random people just glancing at your phone will cause you to be locked out and having to enter the passcode all the time. This has never happened to me. So, and it's been 2 weeks, and so even if it does happen, it's gonna be very rare. It's not something you need to be worried about. But what about random people trying to get in, not just casually glancing at it, trying to break in? Surely they could just hold it up to your face, right? I had Mr. Cameraman hold up the phone to my face, try to get in. I held the character as someone who had no idea that anyone was trying to get my phone until he held it up, and then I did whatever I could to evade him unlocking it. It took him a whole 17 tries, which is very good. That's much better than necessary. After just one try, you just take the phone, put it back in your pocket, and tell him to go away. Unless you're being robbed at gunpoint, of course. But then you have bigger concerns. They're gonna take your phone whether or not they can unlock it or not. It's still worth money.